This player is also awesome. He used 5 million gold, which is equivalent to 500 million yen, buy the entire bank in the game. Make the players submit to him. It's because 2 of his brothers were bullied. And now he's going to make everyone regret it. It all starts at the end of the world. This is Syrup. He woke up alone in the middle of the familiar city of Akihabara. I can smell the moist air, wet and sunlight, dazzling in an amazingly realistic way. All around you there are other players panicking. They don't understand why they're wearing costumes in the game. Keep calling GM. In vain. The Syrup tries to stay calm. He opens the status panel and confirms that you can access the skills, equip into your items, including Disney's license bag. But when trying to use the logout function, it's completely useless. In a moment of glimmer of hope, you open your friends list and saw the names of many people lit up, including Nadagu. You immediately used telepathy, a voice chat function for communication, and soon the 2 friends were reunited. Nachigu, who just logged back in after 2 years. It's equally confusing, but he recognized his friend. The Syrup looks exactly like what he had imagined. A guy with glasses with sharp eyes. They confirmed together that they were trapped in the Elder's game world, right at the time of the new expansion update the Novaspia Pioneers released. This event means their knowledge of the world. It may be outdated. And the monsters. New items and tasks can appear at any time. Aware of the uncertainty of the future and the possibility of not being able to return home soon, the Zero decided that the first step was to collect 10 pieces of information and better understand this new world. While discussing, they're suddenly reunited with an old team in the raids. Akatsuki is a talented but quiet assassin. He is now in the form of a great South Korean figure. Akatsuki quickly recognized the Zero and came close, but not to say hello. It's asking for a shape-shifting potion, a rare item that she remembers the Zero owned. It turns out that Akatsuki is the girl, and she felt very inconvenient to be caught, trapped in a body that's not his. After the Syrup gave her the potion, Akatsuki returned to his true form, a small but fast girl. You're so grateful for the help. She claims to be a ninja and will treat the Syrup as the owner and swore to protect you to pay this debt. Although a little embarrassed, the Syrup agreed, and so the BA was formed together. They started exploring the city of Akihabara and noticed the NPCs. They are called the people of the land. Seem more crowded and alive than before. A disturbing discovery came when Nachigu buy some rice dumplings and green tea, just to see that all the food and drink, they all have the same taste, like a soggy biscuit with no salt. This only strengthens the feeling that this is a reality. That's when Zero got a call from Mariel, guild owner of the Crescent Alliance, and they were invited to her club to exchange information. There they met Mariel, a happy elf priestess, and Henrietta, a human musician. Mariel confirmed that 18 of the 19 members of Online Guild in Akihabara, and the same situation is also happening in 4 other major cities on the server. Japan, however, ports that move between cities have been disabled. It makes people isolated. In times of chaos, some guilds are actively recruiting new members. Mariel knows the reputation of Syrup as the strategist of the legendary group. They broke up the charity party, so she invited him to join her guild. But the Syrup refused. He explained that he couldn't make a decision. At this point, I noticed that Mariel, even if you're trying to have fun, are also struggling to remain calm in the face of a serious situation. After leaving the club, 3 people, they started discussing a question. That's what happens if they die in this world. In the game, players will resurrect at the church. But now no one is sure to find the answer, and at the same time learn how to fight in reality. This new Syrup decides they need to practice. They're going into the forest, storage tower, an area where low-level monsters would still attack them even though their level is 90. Battle with the spiny weasel once again proved there's a huge difference between playing games and fighting. Actually entering commands while facing the monsters that are rushing coming is extremely difficult. However, in the Zero battle there was an important enlightenment. Instead of trying to use the commands in the menu, they have to try to feel the movement with their bodies. Take your advice. Akatsuki moved instinctively and successfully. Her body automatically performs the skills perfectly. Natsu also follows suit and launches a powerful shield blow. They've discovered new rules of the world, where skill and body have merged. This is their new Elder World, where about 30,000 Japanese players and hundreds of thousands of people around the world was caught, trapped in what they later call the end of the world. While Zero and his team are learning how to survive in Akihabara, a desperate cry for help was sent from the city. Suzukino in northern Sierra, a young member of the Alliance in the Crescent, is in danger. In a world where death is no longer the end, a player who has fallen in battle with monsters, just like in the game, he was resurrected in the church. This confirmed a fact. And at the same time, it's comforting that they're truly immortal. Trapped in the world of the game MMORPG LDT, where an estimated 30,000 Japanese and hundreds of thousands of people around the world are imprisoned. This world has become a reality, where death is just a temporary inconvenience. After a battle where the Zero used the Astro skill, bite to tie your feet and finish off the enemy, his team decided to end the training. In the day over there, Zero was pondering new ways of fighting. Their bodies seemed to have memorized the movements. Basic combat allowed them to use their skills and magic instinctively, similar to voice command. As long as they want to fight, see the enemy in front of you. But I realize that there's a big difference between just using it and mastering them. It requires them to work harder. Maybe it's the way fighters do in the real world. Akatsuki offered to go ahead and scout the way back and use the forest as a training ground. Perfect for the skills of a assassin combined with the skill of being a watcher, such as dark vision. Sneak away and move silently. She disappears. One sound. Make Naochugu admire your ability. On the way back, Zero and Naochugu. We talked about the worsening situation in the city. Akihabara order and security are rapidly collapsing. The big guilds use their power to crush the smaller guilds. And what's worse is the spike in PKS. It's also called player killers. They tons attack other players instead of monsters to steal items and money. The lack of a mini-map and couldn't contact GM outside the city has created favorable conditions for the attacks. This has made peeking more popular than ever. While moving through the Loka hospital area, they suddenly discovered the presence of humans. It's a 4-person PK team, a warrior, 2 thieves, and a healer. They confidently ask Zero and his team hand over all the items if they want to live. But Zero together with Naochugu decided to fight. Zero was quick to order Naochugu to attract their attention with the skill of anchoring howls, a skill that forces the enemy to attack him. While the Zero uses his witchcraft, he unleashed an astro bite to tie a target's leg. Next is the electricity, a feeble attack magic. It has a tactical purpose. And then there's the hostage thing. It enveloped the enemy in glowing thorns. Every time someone attacks the target, the spikes will explode and inflict 1,000 damage. You explained that. Wizards are a class of characters who are not strong in attack, but excels at weakening the enemy and strengthen our allies. While the PK team is focused on attacking Naochugu, they didn't realize that Akatsuki was silent. Approach and are you sleep their healer by magic? Astral hypnosis. When the PKs realized their mistake, Akatsuki quickly eliminated the remaining members who were hiding in the forest. She explained that the LM power of Syrup is not only it's a weak attack, whose light dazzled them in the dark forest that they can't recognize. His healer was disabled a long time ago. The coordination, loose and not paying attention to the condition of teammates, has led to 7 of their disastrous defeats. After the battle, they ponder the deep cause of the Peking is on the rise. Syrian, I've come to the conclusion that it's not just about profits. It's about lack of purpose. In a world where food is tasteless but always available, money can be earned easily by killing low-level monsters, and death is not permanent. Many players feel lost and without a goal to live for. They just don't die. So some people have gone out of their way to hurt others as a way to fill the void and feel that I exist. However, the Syrup and his team found a new purpose when Mariel. She reached out to them with a plea for urgency. A member of you, a girl named Sorara. They're trapped and in danger in the city of Suzukino in the north. The transfer ports are not operation, and the only way to get there is by foot or by horse. It's a 425 kilometers journey. Mariel's sending a rescue team, including its most senior members. But Syrup quickly calculated and realized that the trip was almost certain to be 7. After a moment of hesitation and the support of Naochugu and Akatsuki, Zero made his decision. They'll be the ones to save Sorara. You say that when a friend is in trouble, helping is natural. And even if they don't have a big purpose, that doesn't mean they have to be cowardly. Like the PKS, this is their answer. This is what they can do. An act that recalls the spirit of the departure party, the legend of the old, and to deliver on his promises in the most effective way. Syro has revealed a secret that he has kept a long time. You use these rare summons flutes, rewards from the successful conquest of the raid, Hades' breath in the field of death, to call out the griffin. These beautiful flying creatures, it's going to take them all the way to the north, much more quickly than riding on a horse when Nodogu takes off first. In the excitement, Zero had Akatsuki sitting behind him, and then they soared into the sky. Akatsuki was a little worried at first, but she was quickly overwhelmed by the spectacular scenery below. The sky is blue and clear, and the feeling of freedom in the air. It's a rescue journey for all three. It's been 3 days since the Syrup group left Akihabara. They set out on a journey to rescue the young girl. Sorara is stranded in the northern city of Suzukino. Thanks to the griffins, it's limited to riding 4 hours a day. They've come a long way if they're on horses. It's going to take 2 weeks. As they fly over the TIA Stone Mountains, they found out the wyverns were circling. This confirms that the monster, it still appears in familiar areas like in the game. It was too dangerous to fly over the mountains. Zero decided to make a backup plan. That's it. Through an ancient tunnel called the Abyss of Bam. When you go inside, the whole group was overwhelmed by its grandeur. A complex maze of ancient tunnels and mines, much larger and more impressive than they've ever seen on a computer screen. But reality also brings corruption. One parts of the tunnel have collapsed, very different from the version in the game. And then they're confronted by a group of rat people, one of the many demi-human races of this world. Even if it's low-level monsters that can infect land epidemic, they didn't attack because their instincts tell them the difference. Too large a level between them and the group of syrups. Even so, syrup, they think they will be dangerous if you're cornered. So to avoid wasting time and risk the bad effects of the disease, I decided to find another way. During a break, there once again, to face one of the realities, the toughest of the world. It's tasteless food, even when processed from the command menu. Everything from curry, seafood to jambalaya, they all have the same taste, like porridge without salt. Even though raw materials like sugar, less salt, the fruit retains its original flavor. It's about bringing them together. Together, only makes monotonous savory porridge or sweet porridge. It makes them more and more hungry. The taste of fast food and bento boxes. At the convenience store, just at this time Zero got a call from Mariel. She announced that she had contacted Sorara through telepathy. She's safe and being protected by a kind player in Suzukino. Meanwhile at Suzukino, serve. I'm feeling very bored in my hiding place. She lamented that she had chosen the useless maid subclass and killed time by cleaning. This accidentally caused her maid level to rise. Soon he saved and protected her. A cat named Nyan Tao. He returned with little news. Good about the situation in the city, where Gilgamesh is sowing terror, robbing and torturing other players, as well as the people of the land. Even so, he reassured Sorara and said the rescue team will arrive at noon tomorrow. Back to the depths of Bam. The journey of the group. The Zero encounters a major obstacle when a bridge, the creaking they were going through, suddenly collapsed, caused the syrup to fall into the abyss in the moment of free fall. The memory of the syrup. I remember being an introvert. Always feel lonely even in the midst of friends and games. Elder Teo is your way out. Thanks to my uncle's knowledge, he quickly became a veteran player, respected by many. But that popularity also brings trouble. You are constantly being used by others to find you items and information. It makes me feel tired and annoyed. Then I remember my best days as a member of the departure party, where you were with your friends. Really experience the joy of working, adventure, and discovering new things. It's that memory that gives you strength. Just before you go into the dark, Akatsuki rushed Theo to save you, and Naoshigu pulled them both to safety. When I woke up, I thanked both of my friends, and they realized that their level 90 bodies are more resilient. They thought, not only do they get less hurt when they fall from a great height, but also hardly feel tired. After a long journey, the conversation after that revealed the fact that Akatsuki, I'm actually a college student, make Naochigu. It's amazing. And don't miss the opportunity to tease, to get the familiar kicks from her. Their journey continues until they are stopped by a monster. Giant mouse, a garbage code that they believe is one of the monsters. The Novosphere Pioneers expansion. There's no other choice. The group decided to fight. Naoshigu attracts the attention of the monster, while the syrup uses support spells as a hostage. Spikes tied to cause continuous damage, shock to reduce the enemy's ability to dodge, and sharp blades to enhance Joe Akatsuki's attack power. And she then ended the monster with a haunting blow. Death after defeating the enemy. They finally found a way out of the tunnel, and the reward for them is a spectacular sight. A beautiful sunrise on the top of the mountain. Zero realized that, although a lot of players, you may have seen this in the game, but they were the world's first explorers. This reality is witnessed. It's a war. Win a real discovery. It's what makes all their efforts so meaningful. However, in contrast to that peaceful beauty, in Suzukino, the brutality of the Brigandia Guild and its leader, Demicas, are still ongoing. He ordered the wrong man to search everywhere. Sorara and the cat Nyanta. The story is set in the world of Elder Tale. It's based on the Half-Life 3 project. Turn it into a miniature model. at half the rate of the real Earth, where the land corresponding to Japan is called the archipelagos, Yamato's sickle, and at its north pole is the Esso Empire. It's also the destination of the syrup group, near the city of Suzukino. They discuss the Brigandia Guild. It's a notorious organization, even though Eldertale is a game. And now in this real world, they're like fish meeting water. Unleashed the terror of syrup. After finishing a call, he explained to Cho Akatsuki about his strategy. They'll meet Sarara and her guardian in the heart of the city, instead of being outside, because if a fight happens and they're destroyed, they're going to be resurrected at Akihabara Church, while Sarara will be stuck at Suzukino Church. More because Sarara is on a member's friend list. Brigandia Girl will be watched as soon as you leave the safe zone, where you are hiding, so they have to act quickly and decisively before the enemy can catch up. By order of Syrup, Akatsuki uses the skills of class follower, is to sneak away and move silently to become invisible, while the group begins their rescue plan. As soon as they enter Suzukino City, their presence was immediately detected by members of Brigandia, who are frantically looking for Sarara. But Ciro's group was quickly reached the rendezvous point, in a place called the hallway, time where they met Sarara. And it's amazing. The one who saved and protected her was Nyantha, a cat who's a level 90 Squirtle character, and an old friend, honorable comrade that Ciro once called the leader in the glorious days of the group departure party. This unexpected reunion has brought a joy and great trust. Nyantha with extra grace and routine from Mio. At the end of the sentence, he quickly agreed to accompany them back to Akihabara. You have no reason to stay in Suzukino. As soon as they were ready to leave, Akatsuki reported that the enemy was approaching from the north, led by a warrior as big as a bear, who Nyantha confirmed was Demika's Master Guild of Brigandia. Oh, one little hesitation. They quickly get out of there by the back exit, but soon after, they're surrounded by the entire Brigandia force. Demika's mocked and threatened Sarara. He planned to destroy Nyantha, to destroy her spirit, and force you to submit. Facing a large army, Sarara couldn't help but shiver. But Nyantha and Ciro are completely calm. Ciro challenged Demikast, calling him Demiglazer and mocking his cowardice. At the same time, proposed a duel between the warriors, the strongest way to solve everything. Ciro deftly swindles Demi, cast to one side, and turn our attention to the dark wheel of Graston. A magician seems to be more powerful. In the end, with our pride so badly hurt, Demicus roared and accepted the duel. With Nyantha, the battle begins. Demicus, a grade 90 suits, rush into attack with consecutive attacks and high speed, while Nyantha uses agility and to rapier bars to dodge and counterattack. He skillfully applied the bad effects on Demicus, reduces attack power, his defense, and his ability to evade. The people have the upper hand. I realized I was losing. Demi broke his promise and gave orders to his members. Join the battle. Now Chugu immediately used the anchor howling skill to attract the attention of the opponent's healers, while Sarara, as directed by the syrup, started healing Cho, Nyantha, and Naoshugu. However, due to the low level, she quickly felt exhausted. When Naoshugu almost ran out of energy, the Ciro has signaled for you to use your defensive skills. Ultimate Batch's Stone, a skill that creates a protective layer, inviolable in 10 seconds, but has a cooldown time of up to 10 minutes. Demicus and his companions laughed. He believes this is a desperate act, but they don't know that this is the trap that's been laid. In those 10 precious seconds, Sarara, put all your energy into a full recovery for Naoshugu, and as soon as the stone tower was gone, Ciro has unleashed his evil master. You use a hostage spell to tie up Demicus, and at that moment, Nyantha jumped in. He unleashed a series of 9 blows, attack at an unbelievable speed, in less than 2 seconds. The first 5 blows destroy the first set of spikes, deal 5,000 damage, and instantly syrup, with a perfect time calculation to the parts. Milliseconds have reused the spike-bound hostage spell. As soon as it's done cooling off, Nyantha's next 4 attacks detonated the second set of spikes, cause 4,000 more damage, combined with damage from weapons. Combo. This destruction evaporated all of Demi's blood, cast in the blink of an eye. Make him and the whole. The Brigandia Guild died in terror, and it's unbelievable. The leader was defeated. Ciro declared victory and announced that the middle way, Suzukino and Akihabara, has been opened, and Brigandia's reign of terror, before being sent to church. Demi swore, I'll never forget the face of the syrup witch. Don't waste another second. The whole group has been summoned. Griffins and soared into the sky. Escape from Suzukino in the amazement of the enemy. On the way back, Akatsuki was still pondering the amazingly well-coordinated that you just witnessed. A perfect tactic is done. without a word of exchange, and together they headed home back to Akihabara. In the world of Elder Tale, the characters are not controlled by the player, also known as NPC. They're often just lifeless entities. Just repeat the pre-programmed sentences over and over again, and exists solely to perform its role in my game. But since the end of the world, a big change has taken place. After successfully rescuing Sarara from the city of Suzukino and across the Lippet Strait with griffins, the group decided to camp out to rest. Here is a discovery. It's revolutionary. Completely changed their perception of the world. That's when Nyantha with the subclass is a grade 90 chef. He used the raw materials they'd collected 10 times and make them yourself without going through the command menu. He's made dishes that have real flavor. A hearty feast with fragrant barbecue, spicy and rich sauce. Break the tasteless food laws that they've endured for so long. This proves that in this new world, the skills, careers like cooking are no longer just a feature of games that have become a real skill. We can make real products if the practitioner has sufficient qualifications. After a full and satisfied meal, the group officially introduced themselves to each other, through which Akatsuki and Sarara learned that the Syrup, Naochigu and Nyantha used to be members. The core of the legendary raid team, Debo Charity Party. A group is not a guild. It's a collection of elite players who have something in common: passion for adventure. This fact explains the ability to coordinate extraordinary combat, as well as their possession of rare items like Griffin. At the same time, Akatsuki's admiration increased for Syrup while chatting. Zero had a glimpse of the two new players he'd helped out with in the past, a pair of twin sisters named Toya and Minori. By using the teacher system, a feature that's rarely used, allowing high-level players to temporarily lower levels to play with new people, you have guided and helped. They're in the first steps of the game. However, since the end of the world, I have lost contact with them, even though he knew that they had joined a guild. On the way back, a sudden rain forced them to seek shelter, and they stumbled upon the Arab village, a small village located in the Arabian Highlands. Here they had a meeting with the NPCs, or now called the people of the land. This is very different from the other NPCs they know in the game. These RB villagers are headed by old Fredo. They have personalities again, own emotions and memories. They have family. There are stories about my life, like the story of Fredo. Bravely overcame the blizzard to take his daughter-in-law to the birth clinic. This interaction made Syra must rethink the nature of this world. They realized that the people of the land, it's really people. They live in harmony with their land and have a life of their own. This begs the big question that whether explorers like them, with a powerful body and the ability to resurrect immortals, it's the abnormal people in this world. That evening, they were the villagers. Arb offers delicious local food, like cheese and sausage, things that are considered raw materials, and thus retain the flavor. Reinforced fake theory of the importance of career skills. Meanwhile in Akihabara, a completely different picture is emerging. The city is engulfed in a smoldering chaos, where the strong bully the weak. Twin sisters Toya and Minori, after being trapped, he joined a guild in hopes of finding safety, but instead, they're being cruelly exploited by labor. They're forced to collect 10 items a day, and if they don't meet their targets, they'll be punished. Their lives are filled with despair and suffering. Minori in the most desperate moments. I always asked the teacher, what would my Zero do in this situation? The next day Toya continued to work. At the right time, Mariel's familiar voice echoed through the square to announce the safe return of Sarah. Toya in a flashing moment. I hope I ran to that voice and finally saw the silhouette of the Syrup, the teacher they always remember. But you didn't come to see me. The boy turned his back and left, and decided to deal with his own problems. In the new world of Elder Tale, guilds play a very important role. It's not just temporary groups of players. It's also about structured organizations. Offers many benefits, like general storage and private communication systems, and most importantly, the right to use it. Meeting at the guild building. When Sarara returns safely, the alliance in her crescent has nested. Have a grand welcome party. This party has become a special event. When the first time, people get to enjoy food that has real flavor, thanks to Nyantha's culinary skills. But that joy also comes with the fact that it's not that AI can recreate this flavor. It requires the performer to have culinary skills at a certain level. And even at the same level, the taste of the food may be different. It depends on the skill of each person. The strategic importance of this discovery, Mariel decided to keep it a secret for a while, to avoid causing chaos. Not worth it in the city. At a party when the atmosphere is cheerful and boisterous, Zero went to Mariel for a private chat. I asked about the situation in Akihabara during your absence, and she shared in a very less optimistic way that Although Peking has declined, the city seems to be forming an underground social order where the guild grows as DDD. With more than 1,500 members, they're slowly establishing unwritten rules and take over the hunting grounds. It is best to push smaller guilds into a weak position. Situation becomes more complicated as the other powerful guilds, like a knight with a black and silver sword, they can't compete in quantity. We decided to focus on quality by finding ways to level up 91 and even 100 after the level limit is raised in the new expansion. And to do that, they shook hands with a notorious guild called Hamlin, an organization dedicated to seduction. The new players join to exploit and seize the XP potion, precious that they are given daily. Sell them to large guilds for profit. Zero, after hearing these things, sank into thought. He realized that the chaos and decay of Akihabara is not the AI's own fault. It's everyone's responsibility, including yourself, who chose to stay out and do nothing. And now I can't go on ignoring. Your thoughts are interrupted. I remember the twin sisters, Toya and Minori, that you've helped. They're both in the Hamlin Guild. The anguish and the sense of guilt that's driven. You have to act. After a rough night and a conversation with Nyantha about the nature of relationships and the need, you have to work hard to build good things. Cyro has found his answer. I decided I couldn't keep running and blame the system. You've got to make the change yourself. Zero has contacted Minori using a simple cipher system in KOF to confirm the situation of the two sisters. I promised I'd come save them and tell them to trust you. Right after that, he gathered everyone from Nao Chugyu, Akatsuki Nyanta, Sorara, until the whole guild alliance without Crescent. He announced his plan. It's not just rescuing Toya and Minori from the Hamlin Guild. It's about cleaning up the entire city of Akihabara. I condemn cowardice. Small and pathetic is covering the city. A place where people just seem to exist. It's not living. You assert that 30,000 players is not a big number, and they're so disregarding the world. They need to be more determined. Your plan begins with a request. It requires a starting capital of 5 million gold. It's a giant number, but he explained that money was just the first step. What's more important is hope and the goodwill of all. I believe that if all the A's that love this city together, they can win. And to carry out that plan, he decided to create his own guild. To everyone's surprise and joy, Zero has announced the name of guild that is Lock Horizon. With a clear goal and a bold plan, Zero start the first phase, the first of Akihabara's face-changing campaign. You need a huge capital of up to 5 million gold, a number that for Mariel and members of the Union, Clear in the Crescent is completely unimaginable, because their entire budget was 60,000 gold to start implementing the plan. Guild's been working together under the direction of Cyro. They started hunting wild boars in the Royal Garden Forest, but not to collect 10 meats like regular items. It's to capture them alive, because they discovered that if a chef is processing of animals that are captured alive, they can use the whole animal to produce a much larger output of raw materials, as opposed to simply defeating and collect 10 items. At the same time, at the club, Nyanta became a teacher. For those who want to learn culinary skills, he taught them how to taste, spice and create dishes that taste real. Meanwhile, Mariel, who's not used to paperwork, also struggled with mountains of budgets and documents that Cyro and Henrietta prepared. Syrup has been working non-stop. Map out the detailed plan of Collection 10. Information about all Akihabara guilders. Assess their potential and personnel. Made Henry. Etta also had to admire the ruthlessness and efficiency in your strategy. I realize that in a world without rules, they have to make their own rules. A new rule that can make money legally and make people happy to accept. After many days of preparation, the plan has officially started. The Moon Alliance. Crescent opened a small food stall right in the square. It's called Crescent Burger. Their main dish is the cake, fragrant hamburger with authentic flavor. It's something that no player can imagine. The last instant, this little stall has caused a fever. People of Akihabara, people who are bored with the tasteless food that's poured, shoved here to be again. Taste the taste of real food. They lined up in a long line, and the burgers sold out in the blink of an eye. The success of Crescent Burger. It's not just a huge profit. On the first day, more than 43,000 gold. More importantly, it sent a strong message to the whole city. It has proven it's about creating quality and valuable products. It's entirely possible, and it's planted in the hearts of the people of Akihabara a ray of hope for a better life. This event quickly attracted the attention of the big guild, all the guild fighting and guild producing. They realized that the appearance of food that tastes real, it will completely change the economy and the balance of power in the city. But for Syrup, Selling burgers and making money is just a stepping stone. That's the first phase of a much larger plan. While the Alliance Crescent is busy with business, Zero secretly contacted an old friend, a former member of the Debo charity party, Sujiro Sita Guildmaster of the West Wine Brigade, a small but extremely elite fighting guild. Zero explained his vision of a new Akihabara, a place where everyone can live with dignity. And there's a goal. It is no longer considered a prison. I need Sujiro's help. Not for selling burgers, it's for something bigger. Sujiro did not understand the plan of the syrup, but with absolute trust in his former comrade, and the most brilliant strategist I've ever known, did not hesitate to agree to help. Zero's plan is slowly unraveling. Each piece is in the right place, with the support of the Crescent Alliance, the small guilds, and now there's a guild fighting as hard as the brigade. Westwind Syrup is ready for the second phase of the plan, a period that will not only stop at the humidification business, it will have a profound impact on the entire structure of society. Akihabara, a revolution is quietly being prepared, and the mastermind behind it all, no one else. It's the guy called the villain with the glasses. In the world of Elder Tale, the quests are one zeroth missing. They're diverse, from simple tasks like finding missing people, until the great adventures. Offers valuable rewards such as golden experience, magical knowledge items, or recipes, and the Griffin Summon Whistle that the Zero Group owns. It's also a reward from such a colossal mission. After the successful launch of Crescent Burger Stand, next step in the Zero's plan is to raise a huge capital of 5 million gold, a number you need to carry out the next phase of the campaign. To achieve that goal, he sent Mariel and Henrietta, the two faces of the alliance in the Crescent, to negotiate with BA, the largest production guild in Akihabara, including Roderick Matin Guild, Marine Agency, and Shopping Chi 8. This is a real brainstorming war, because after the Doomsday event, raw materials are becoming increasingly scarce. Few people dare to go out and fight. This gives large production guilds an advantage in purchasing, but the appearance of food that tastes real from Crescent Burger has become a lucrative prey. No guild wants to miss. Mariel and Henrietta are very worried, maintained a confident appearance, and began negotiations. At first they suggested you. The guild supplies materials for its stalls, but soon after, they've skillfully redirected the game. Talk about a bigger problem. That's the Alliance in. The Crescent is preparing for a major campaign. It's a challenge they can't do on their own, and need help. They're talking about a legendary mission, related to the expansion. The Novosphere Pioneers, a task that requires a huge amount of capital investment. That's 5 million gold, but it also promises a very valuable reward. To give more weight to your words, they revealed that the head of this campaign was no other AI. It's the Syrup. It's also known as the Glasses Villain, a brilliant strategist via the legendary raid team, the Debauchery Party, and the owner of these rare griffins. Just the name. This is enough to make the owners, the big guild, has to think seriously. They believe that a mission is led by someone like Cyril will definitely bring huge profits. As a testament to the potential of the mission, and to serve them, the pudding is made from the eggs of the bird, a level 85 monster. This implies that they've got these premium recipes and monopoly that no other AI has. To avoid creating an imbalance of power, Mariel asked each guild to donate 1/3 of the money. That's a comma of 5 million gold per guild, and return it after the mission is complete. They will get it. Full information details of the plan, as well as exclusive recipes, before a very attractive offer. The 3 guild owners quickly agreed, and that's Syrup. It was successful. Raise the necessary funds, without having to reveal your entire plan. Meanwhile, at Hamlin's guild, the situation of Toya and Minori twins still hasn't changed. They continue to be exploited and live in despair. Minori, after recalling the teachings of Syrup, it's about keeping important things in the bank. You're drowning in guilt, and blame yourself for being so weak and for losing everything. She felt she didn't deserve the Syrup. I hope to hear the group again. When you get a message from the Syrup itself, I promised I'd come and save them tomorrow. This gave strength to both sisters. It gives them the courage to face reality, waiting for the day to be released. Back to the club of the Crescent Moon Alliance. Mariel and Henrietta return in fatigue, but I'm also very proud of my success. They've done an outstanding job with the Syrup. The Syrup had prepared snacks to welcome them. He revealed that raising money is only a small part of it, and now your real battle has begun. The next day, guild owners were all over Akihabara. They all received an invitation to a meeting to decide the future of the city. It's organized by Lock Horizon and the Crescent Alliance. A confrontation without gunfire. But there's a lot of tension coming up, where Zero will have to face Akihabara's most powerful people and convince them of their vision. At the same time, Toya and Minori are empowered by the promise of syrup. They both decided to start their own war. Before the big event called the Roundtable Conference, the atmosphere at the guild building. It becomes very stressful when the owners, guild of the most powerful organizations Akihabara, appeared in turn, including DDD, Black Sword Nice Honesty, West Wine Bear, EGADE and Silver Sword represent the guild fighting. With Marine Agency, Roderick Machin Guild Shopping, G8, Rander and Radio Market representing the Production Guild, and Indispensable Alliance in the same crescent, with the newly formed guild, Lock Horizon as a meeting initiator. Syrian Representative Cho Lock Horizon has started his speech. He was immediately attacked by Isaac, Black Sword Nice and William Massachusetts. The leader of the Silver Sword interrupted. They're asking you to get straight to the point. Instead of the cumbersome introductions, Zero presents the objectives of the meeting. That's the discussion. And find solutions to the alarming situation of Akihabara since the end of the world. A world they may never be able to return to. He proposed the creation of a council to solve the city's common problems. However, the problem, he was met with skepticism and opposition from the owners. Guilds, especially combat guilds, assume that this is just a futile attempt. It was like the formation of the alliance of small guilds before, an attempt solely to protect personal interests. They declared they don't care about the state of the city because it's just a place for them to sell things. And then Silver Sword left the meeting. At the same time at the Hamlin Guild, there's a rescue plan going on in secret. Tohia and Minori as directed by. The Zero has gathered all the new imprisoned players and prepare for the escape. Zero arranged Akatsuki and Naoshigu in strategic locations to support. And more importantly, he had gained control of the entire guild building. Make it a safe area. In the Syro meeting continued to clarify its purpose. He said he has no intention of forming a coalition, meant for the benefit of the group, but simply want to improve Akihabara's situation for everyone. British Bareback acts exploitation of the guild as Hamlin and compare it to lawlessness in Suzukino. It emphasizes the need for rules, created and obeyed by the player himself. A heated debate broke out, and when questioned about how to do it, decisions of the council, Zero has unleashed his trump card. He announced that he had acquired the entire guild building. It was a shocking act for everyone present. With ownership of this area, the Zero has full control over everyone's access. This includes access to the bank, where most players keep all of their assets. This is a very smart move. Turn me from a peace caller to be someone who can intimidate the whole community of players in Akihabara. You bluntly declare that any AI that opposes the Roundtable Conference will be banned. The door from the Jian building. It means freezing your assets. To face this threat, the guild owners had no choice. Instead of sitting and listening, at the same time in Hamlin the escape began. Tohia and Minori applied the tactics that Zero taught them. Both faced the members of Hamlina. Hia used the skills of a samurai to silence the enemy, while Minori used protective shield to fishing. Let the others escape now. They managed to get to the door, where they are greeted by Saru and Veranda, two members of the alliance in the crescent, sent by the syrup to assist. However, they were stopped by the Shredder, a member of Hamlin, who attacked Tohia viciously. At that time, Akatsuki appeared and easily defeated the Shredder. At the same time, Syrup, by controlling your own area, locked all members of Hamlin party outside the building. The guild completely ended their rule, with all the new players successfully rescued. The War of the Syro. The roundtable meeting also came to an end. You have succeeded in forcing them. Large guild must be involved in establishing a new order for Akihabara. Our two main goals are to restore life to the city and create rules to bind everyone. And so the fight to reclaim Akihabara's future, it has officially started, with the Zero who's been dubbed the Glasses villain, stand at the center of it all. After the round table, Akihabara has begun to see positive changes. A week goes by. The city is wearing a new shirt, full of life and hope. It all started with the powerful speech of the Syrup. At the conference, he revealed a revolutionary secret. It's the ability to create things and technologies never seen in Elder Tale. Just have enough professional skills. Players can build everything themselves from the raw materials available in this world. A good example is the fact that guilds produce big after receiving. Suggested from Syrup. They built a steam engine in less than 12 hours. This discovery has ushered in a new era for our economy. Akihabara, where creativity and labor will be emphasized. It also creates a powerful dynamic. Let people leave the city, go hunting, collect raw materials, and participate in economic activities to solve the problem of idleness and despair. In addition to boosting the economy, Zero also proposed basic rules to ensure security and justice for all, including a ban on peaking in low-level areas. recognition of fundamental rights such as freedom, join and leave the guild. And most importantly, it's about recognizing the people of the land. They are real people, with full rights as explorers. Although this proposal was initially met with opposition, but with sharp arguments and foresight, Zero has gradually convinced the guild owners after Krusty, leader of DDD, the largest fighting guild, voiced its support. In turn, other large guilds like West Windera IG8, Honesty also agreed to participate. And so the roundtable was officially established, an alliance of Akihabara's top guilds. Our goal is to build a better society. As soon as the conference is over, the first decisions have been made. Secrets on how to make food that tastes real is widely publicized. A small tax is applied for each use. Guild building to raise funds for joint operations. And a big food festival was held to celebrate. In parallel, the Syrup has also dealt with the Hamlin Guild by forbidding them from accessing the guild building and the bank. You've completely disabled their ability to function, forcing members to find their own way out of the city in the misery. Meanwhile, new players are rescued. We found a new roof. Most of them have joined the League in the Crescent, attracted by Suryu's kindness and bravery. In the rescue, it's making the League's club overloaded. It's an unexpected but also very welcome development. At the same time, Lock Horizon also welcomed two new members. No one else is Tohia and Minori. The two sisters did not hesitate to come. And please join the guild of the teacher they always respect. Face their sincerity and determination. Zero is now a guild owner. Could not refuse and gladly welcome them. That evening, under the night sky full of Sao, the members of Lock Horizon, new and old, have gathered together for curry. Spicy of Nyanta, a cozy moment that marks a new beginning. But the peace doesn't last long. There are rumors of change-in. Akihabara has land to the tie of kingdoms, of the people of the land. They've started sending people to scout, and an invitation letter from Istanbul, one of the powerful kingdoms, was sent to the round table. The days after that, life in the new world continues to spin. At a training session for new players of Lock Horizon, Toya and Minori, under the strict but dedicated guidance of Naoshugyu and Akatsuki, both of you are getting used to your role in a group. They've learned the importance of collaboration and understand the strengths, weaknesses of the character class. Meanwhile, at Lock Horizon's headquarters, Zero's still working on it. I'm not just looking for a way back into the real world, but also the effort to learn more about the nature of this new world. He experimented with his scribe skills. Hope can create things that go beyond the limits of the game, in the same way that chefs and craftsmen did it. A sudden peace broken by an outburst. Mariel's feelings. You're too tired of work, paperwork, and yearning for a summer vacation trip to solve this problem, and at the same time make a commitment. Training new players of the conference, Syrup Roundtable quickly came up with a solution. It's a summer camp, training for all new players, under 40 in Choi Beach Town, West Jalif region. This plan didn't just satisfy Mariel's wishes. It's also an opportunity for a new generation of players to learn and development in a safe and organized environment. While Akihabara was preparing for summer camp, another important event has happened. A delegation from the Alliance of Free Cities of Eastone, one of the powerful forces of the people of the land, went to Akihabara. They're carrying an official invitation from the Syriot Lord. Cohen asked roundtable meeting to send representatives to attend a conference of lords and a dance. The meeting will take place next month. This is the first official contact between explorers and political forces of the people of the land. It's a very complicated diplomatic problem. Magazine for Roundtable Conference. They have to decide between getting 10, get the information, precious things about the world, and the risk of being caught up in conspiracies. The politics of indigenous forces. After a tense discussion, the roundtable decided to send a delegation, including Krusty, official representative of the council. Mijitaka represents the production guild, and Zero as an information analyst. Henrietta also decided to come along, in the name of an observer, but actually to have the opportunity to take care of Joe Akatsuki. The delegation will go to the Eternal Ice Palace where the dance takes place, an architectural work. It's built from magic ice. Here, they met and talked to Lord Sergeant Cohen, head of the Aesir Alliance, through which the Syrup realizes that the social structure of the people of the land quite similar to the system. The Guild of Explorers, where power is divided, share and decide through discussions, but the atmosphere at the dance was tense. Both sides were cautious, trying to gather 10 pieces of information about the enemy without revealing it. So much about me. While at summer camp in Chusai, new players are enjoying the clear sea air, heal and prepare for their next challenge, a dungeon expedition called La Grena Forest. This will be a real test for what they've learned, and more specifically, They will have to face it themselves. To take on this challenge without the direct help of the coach, it's an important lesson about independence and trust in the team. It's a lesson. Zero took careful note and sent it to Minori. In the world of Elder Tale, the dungeons are also known as dungeons. These are special areas where the battles with monsters. It happens in a space restriction. It requires players to have complex team coordination. At the Eternal Ice Palace 9, in the solemn atmosphere of dance delegation of the conference, the round table is facing another battlefield, a tense diplomatic showdown. Krusty as the representative, he skillfully declined the invitation. Dance for more time with the Lord, Surgeon and Syrup, even if you don't want to, was pushed off the stage to be the opening act. Luckily, Henrietta, with his be a character class, he became a perfect dancer. You're not just a guide. Zero danced gracefully step by step. It also explains to you the role of a board, a support character class, use of music to strengthen teammates and weaken the enemy with long-lasting effects. While Cyro and Henrietta were dancing, Akatsuki was suddenly struck by a group of children of the people of the land. Go out to hide and seek. In that moment of fun, you realize the difference between you, an explorer, and ordinary kids. This event is also a Minori time. I'm worried about the next dungeon expedition. She contacted Zero. I reassured her by repeating the basic principles about group combat that you taught. But at the same time, she's not alone. And level isn't everything. That short conversation added to Minori a lot of courage. The next day, the Syrup and the delegation realized that their new method of cooking has begun. Wideland in the community of people of the land. A sign of influence. The growing number of explorers. Syrian explained that in order to avoid negative impacts, they need to understand the world better. He also analyzed the complex political situation of the Union, Easter, where the noble clans is trying to pull the explorers towards us. At the same time, they're also aware that the mission system has changed since the end of time, cause unintended consequences, especially for new players. While at summer camp in the forest of La Granada, group of Minori including Toya, Isuzu Sarara, and a shaman called Jandal Housecoat, preparing for the first expedition. Although there was a slight disagreement at first due to personality, the opposite of members, they finally went into the dungeon. First battle with a group of 3 skeletons. It went pretty well. Tuhia as a muscle-building samurai. You were clever. Attract the attention of the enemy with long-range attacks. While Zandal House, it shows the destructive power of a magician. And Isuzu as a board. You used his support song to amplify the power. Magic, however. Dandel House's inexperience and pride quickly led to disaster. He didn't notice the skeletal archers hiding and be targeted by them. The use of a powerful magic that drew the attention of all the enemies towards him. That caused their formation to completely collapse. With other members unable to heal in time, they have no choice. In addition to running away in chaos and 7 defeats, at the same time at the dance, Gusty, in a private conversation, refused politely but emphatically the invitation of a lord. Instead, he went and invited Princess Lenacia L.R. T.E. Cohen, granddaughter of Lord Syriot, and one of the most important figures of Istal. Dancing is an important diplomatic step in the world of Elder Tale Party. Next to the explorers and the people of the land, there are also demi-human races like goblins. The creatures are cruel and numerous. It's not comparable to an average explorer, but their strength lies in numbers and diversity. They're mostly in the northeastern part of the island chain. Zamato, meanwhile, at the permanent Ice Palace 9 delegation of the conference, the round table is facing a busy schedule. Feasts and meetings with the Lords of the League. East they decide to split Ra to attend. Zero will join the meeting with the Academic Council. Mijitaka will attend Dre Lord's party. And Krusty's going to the Young Knights party. I'm confident that I can deal with flattery, thanks to a very strong shield. That shield is none other than Princess Lenacia, the person you've skillfully turned into my companion. During the duration of the conference, it's Lenacia, a grim-looking princess. But they're really lazy and just want to lie down all day long. At first, I was very disturbed by the appearance of Krusty, someone you think can read your mind. But Krusty, with the subtlety and the ability to understand the psyche, they quickly turned the situation to their advantage. I'm proposing a win-win deal. They will appear together, create an excuse, perfect for hiding from boring parties. It also creates an effective shield before the scrutiny of other lords and nobles in a friendly match with the Knights of Easter. But Krusty has shown the unsurpassed power of a level 90 explorer. You easily beat all your opponents and win the prize. It's an honor. Accompany Princess Lenacia at dinner party in private conversations. But Krusty has slowly broken the veneer of Lenacia. He compared her to his sister in the real world. a person who has the same lazy habits, and acknowledged her presence. It helped me to miss home. You are also clever. It shows the basic difference between the explorers and the people of the land. It's the freedom to do what you want, sleep when you like, and go anywhere. But that freedom is also requires a great deal of determination and responsibility. Relationship between them from an initial exploitation has slowly turned into an understanding and empathy. Meanwhile, at Minori's summer camp, after the first 7 defeats, they're still struggling to conquer the dungeon. La Grande they successively 7 defeat. Self-blame and helplessness envelop the whole group. Isuzu even wondered if she was too weak, and there's not enough potential or not. But Minori, even though I am very nervous, I still try to keep up my spirit. She believed that this was a challenge they had to overcome on their own. Parallel to those developments, the battle between the Round Table and the East Alliance continues. The Lords, after realizing the power and the enormous potential of explorers, especially in the field of technology and economics, they found every way to draw them to themselves. He offered to give explorers noble titles and promises tremendous benefits, such as help in the development of ocean transport technology. To deal with the threat of monsters, Zero and his delegation realized that this is a subtle trap, and they have to be careful not to get caught up in disputes. The internal politics of the Union. They need to set rules clearly for the cooperation between the two sides. And that's why Zero sent Akatsuki to collect 10 pieces of intelligence. You've discovered that even though the Lords are eager to cooperate, they're still extremely vigilant and fear the power of the explorers. And they're arguing about whether to take a flexible approach or tough to deal with. The last evening of the conference. 1. Zero is musing alone outside the balcony. I had a fateful meeting. A mysterious shaman claiming to be Reagan of Lake Myro. I came to you. This person seems to know very well the nature of the end of the world and deep secrets, the most secret of this world. In the solemn air of the Eternal Ice Palace 9, the secret encounter between Zero, Akatsuki, and Regan, the magic scientist, and also the heir to the title of the Sage of Lake Myro. It's still going on. Regan has revealed a theory that it's the end of the world. It was the 3rd time world-class magic brought. World fragmentation name activated. First time happened to go 355, when the princesses of the tribe eat. In a rage, conservatives have used this magic to create races from the souls, wandering, plunging the world into a dark age. And the second time ago 245, when a magic summons the gods. It's used to take explorers, the messengers of God, to this world to fight the demihumans. Reagan explained that, according to soul theory, there are 2 types of energy, Seiki. It's also called the soul. It's equivalent to megapixels and contains consciousness and character. And anima, or the body. It's the equivalent of HP, and it contains memories in the brain. When a man of the land dies, both their anima and Seiki disintegrate. But an explorer has a resurrection mechanism, similar to the demihumans, allowing their Seiki to return to the church and recreate the anima. However, this process is not perfect. This leads to the loss of some experience, or in other words, part of the memory. This means that every time you die, the explorers would lose part of their memories. It could be memories of the real world. Meanwhile, at summer camp in Choji, after 7 consecutive defeats, the atmosphere in Minori's group became extremely heavy. Self-blame and blaming each other pushed them to the brink of collapse. But Sohia Vandal House, Isuzu and Sarara were both drowning in a sense of helplessness. They don't understand why, despite their best efforts, they still can't overcome the challenges. The simplest of dungeons. Minors always try to lead the team by following what the syrup teaches. She also felt confused and worried. You feel like you've missed something important. A core element of group combat that syrup never talked about. The next morning, before the team prepares for another hopeless attempt, Minori was brave. Stand up and suggest they stop going into the dungeon. She suggested that instead of continuing to plunge into 7 defeats, they should take time to sit back, talk, and understand each other better. Because you realize that what they're missing, it's not power or tactics. It's about trust and real engagement. They're just a bunch of strangers put together, not just friends. The real teammates, and only if they can trust and rely on each other, they can be a real team. A team that can overcome any challenge together. Meanwhile, at the palace, after finishing the conversation with Regan, Zero and his delegation returned. With political negotiations, they're faced with attractive partnership offers, but also full of snares from the Lords. Everyone has their own agenda, and find ways to harness the power of explorers. On his side but Syrup, with an in-depth look, more about the nature of the world and the dangers. Potential. I've decided to remain neutral and cautious. I know that before you can make any important decisions. They need to understand the world better and his own place in it. I can't stop thinking about what Reagan said about the risk of losing your memory after every death, a truth that can change completely the way the explorers look at life and death in the new world. This, and I know that I can't let anyone else know about this, at least until you can find a solution. After the first 7 defeats, new group of players at training summer camp, under the guidance of Minori, there was a breakthrough. They realized that the root cause of these 7 failures, it's not about skill, personal or tactical. It's a lack of understanding and trust. Minori boldly proposed that they should take the time to sit back and talk, to learn about strengths, weakness, each member's fighting preferences and habits. The conversation was a bit awkward at first, but gradually as people open up, they've discovered things they never knew about each other. The role of a samurai, increase muscle, and the importance of attracting the enemy's attention. While Dandel House is also known as Rudy, talk about your powerful magic, as well as the accompanying weaknesses. Isuzu has revealed a unique support skill called Coward's Full, a skill that can reduce the enemy's perceived damage, creating an important tactical advantage. Through this discussion, they realized that it's only by bringing together the power of each individual they can create a strong collective. With this new understanding, they went back to the dungeon of La Granda with a completely different spirit. This time Minori, with the confidence and knowledge that the syrup imparted. You've taken on an outstanding command role. You divide roles clearly. Tohia is the leader who attracts and holds the enemy. Sorora is responsible for the main healing. Rudy and Suzu are the main killers. You will be the supervisor. Monitor the entire battlefield and provide support when needed. As a result, they easily defeated their enemies that had previously made them struggle to escape. They move in an organized way, attacked in a way, coordinate and support each other in a smooth manner. Victory. This doesn't just bring them experience and items. It's more important. It gave them joy and confidence. They've learned the most valuable lesson of group play. That's trust. And they became real friends. Meanwhile, at the Ice Palace, 9 delegations of the Round Table. Even though they're facing complicated political negotiations, they have also achieved certain achievements. I'm tired of long meetings. I didn't forget to take the time to research, learn more about this world. He continued to practice his scribe skills. I hope I can create magical items. It can change the landscape. Events at the palace and training summer camp. It seems unrelated. Suddenly interrupted again by a large-scale attack by demihumans. A giant SA Hojin army. The monster fish, who suddenly appeared from under the sea and attacked the campsite in the chain. No Chugu and the coaches. Others quickly organized their defense, while Saru rushed into battle to protect everyone and order the others to warn. Groups are in the forest. The situation becomes extremely critical when the invasion of the Demiland army spread across the peninsula. Zalif the explorers are participating in summer camp. Training has been pushed into a real fight for life and death. Even if it's just a patchwork group, they've shown remarkable coordination to hold the enemy back. Create time for new players to withdraw back to the safe zone. Meanwhile, at the Palace of Eternal Ice 9, news of the invasion also quickly came lan. Zero through a psychic conference. The sense of urgency is ingeniously set up that connected all the key members of the conference. Roundtables, even though they're in different locations, come together to face the crisis. You explained that the invasion. This is a direct consequence of the event. The return of the Goblin King, a recurring event in the game, if the player doesn't intervene, will lead to the rise of a mighty goblin army. It's been ignored since the end of time. This means the goblin army, the present, is stronger than anything they've ever faced. Zero also reveals a disturbing truth, that the military forces of the people of the land, the East Tower Alliance, doesn't seem to have the strength to deal with it. And the existence of the Izuma Knights, a legendary army in the game, is still a mystery. Face an inevitable big battle, and the risk of severe 7. It's not just for explorers, but also the people of the land, people who will die forever. The atmosphere of the conference became extremely tense, while at the same electronics. Princess Lanacia, I got the bad news that my father would have to go back to the city. My heart to lead the defense against the goblin army. You and your dad will have to stay for the conference and maintain political stability. This has put Lanacia in a very difficult position. Force her to face the responsibility she's always tried to. Hiding at summer camp. People who live. The survivors of the first attack regrouped. In the school district. The fear and confusion that enveloped everyone. Now Chigu and other coaches try to reassure them. At the same time analyze the situation. And determine the goblin army's next target seems to be Choji Town. A town without walls and very vulnerable to attack. A heated argument has exploded among new players, One side thinks they should retreat to save their lives. One side led is Toya. They say they can't leave innocent people behind. In the moment of decision, Minori made a proposal. Instead of passively defending an undefensible town, they should actively attack, take the initiative, and disrupt the enemy's plans. It's a risky decision, but it also shows maturity and the sense of responsibility of young players. They realized that as explorers, they have power, and they have a responsibility to protect the vulnerable, even if there's no way asking or rewarding them. At the same time, the syrup makes a decision. I shared a secret that I just learned. It's every time you die, the explorers will lose part of their signature, my memories of the real world. This information caused a huge shock. But Krusty, I've made it clear that fear is not an option, and not acting out of fear of risk is worse than death. He shared his own personal experience, admitted that he had lost some of his memories, but that didn't stop him. Krusty's words gave strength to all. People help them overcome their fears and focus on finding solutions. Natsugu and Nyanda are on a different battlefield, has also come to support new players, and they're as adults. I respect Minori's decision. They gave her freedom to carry out his plan because they understand that freedom is a privilege of explorers, but it also comes with responsibility and determination, and they believe that Minori, ready to shoulder that responsibility. In the thick darkness that covered the battlefield, a group of young explorers, under the command of Minori, they were making a night attack on the goblin army. This plan is rooted in her own determination. Who believed that active attack instead of passive defense will panic the enemy and disrupt their plans? That's slowing down progress and make their attacks more fragmented, easier to defend. Talia rushed forward to lure two enemy squadrons into a trap, while Minori, with sharp eyes, thanks to the magic eye potion that now Chugu lent, I can see in the dark as a cat and coordinate the entire battle from behind. She gave orders to Rudy, use of small-scale magic to restrain the enemy and conserve energy for the attacks, greater than at the same time instructing Isuzu, use support zones to be disabled. Power for the whole team. Everything seems to be going perfectly. A proof for their maturity and team spirit. But at the same time, at the Eternal Palace of Ice 9 SAHLA, another war, a tense diplomatic showdown, is silently happening. The Lords of the East Tower Alliance, in a secret meeting. There was no participation of explorers. They've exposed their despair and their fear. They realize that Juicy can't last very long. The goblins' next target, most likely Sakuba or even Maihara. Some people even suspect that the invasion, this tomb, is a conspiracy of the explorers themselves to weaken them. But above all, an alarming truth that's been carefully hidden. It's the Izuma Knights, the legendary military force that they've always trusted, disappeared. Oh, this leads them into a trap. Forced to consider a cruel strategy is to sacrifice one of his cities as bait. This creates the conditions for a full-scale counterattack. After the first battle, Minori's group had a precious moment of rest. They shared together war booty. The first thing they did was, with the strength of the team, a pair of wizard gloves and a little hesitation, they all agreed to give it to Rudy. Only member of the group can use it. That moment was strengthen the friendship and trust between them. They shared their fears together. When you have to fight in the dark, but at the same time, trying to resolve that the protection of those in difficulty. That's the mission of an explorer. Back to the official meeting. The air becomes extremely tense when the lords began to press to the delegation of the conference round table. They nobly claim that fighting against the goblins, it's a blessing from the gods that immortal explorers have to do. These arrogant words made Michitaka could not contain the attack. Your anger is blunt. They claim that they are not citizens of the Union, East Tower, and no obligation to obey the orders of any that they're not pawns. They may be wrong to fight because they are immortal, because none of the lords, knowing the painful truth, every time I die, the explorers will have to pay a very high price. The fiery confrontation has pushed the talks to a dead end, and right at that moment, an unexpected character has appeared. Princess Lenacia, who was always seen as a lazy and shy girl, out in the middle of the hall, with an iron determination in his eyes. She announced that she would go to Akihabara in person to call for a volunteer army. Your actions are not only shocking for all those present, it's also breaking the deadlock of the negotiations. You frankly just, the cowardice and disrespect of the lords, assume that asking for help from free people, like the explorers, it must come from honesty and respect, not by coercion or deception. And to prove it, she had revealed a secret that the lords had tried to. It's the disappearance of the Izuma Knights. She confirmed that she was going to Akihabara, standing on the street, and talked to one explorer at a time, to find people willing to help. by their own freedom and will. Linasia's brave speech, even if it makes you collapse from exhaustion. And then it completely changed the landscape. Syrian. I couldn't help but admire the princess's determination. I realized that in a world where explorers are free people, only genuine respect and persuasion are possible. Shake them up. And the lazy princess herself. It's this coward who can save the League East out of its own deadlock. When Princess Lanasia first set foot in the city, Akihabara is vibrant. You can't hide the overwhelm and a little bit of fear in a completely foreign world. But she quickly calmed herself. That this is my own decision, and you're not allowed to be weak. Crusty, after ensuring her safety, he temporarily returned to the club. I handed over Princess Chosiro and Akatsuki. You two will accompany and support her in her first steps in this city. Meanwhile, life in Akihabara, it's still happening to its own rhythm. Mijitaka gets a little boring without syrup. The princess is here. And Sujiro. They are always surrounded by female members. His guild. People who always give you the most admiration. Zero understood that to the call of Lanasia had the greatest impact. First impressions are very important. So he took her to Karasin to prepare for the speech. In front of all the explorers, together they chose a suit of armor. Kiri is both majestic and majestic. The same sword is not for fighting. It's about creating a powerful image. It's a symbol of determination. The appearance of a real princess, right in the heart of the city. It quickly caught everyone's attention. They're curious, they admire, and they don't stop talking. And in the meantime, Lin Ha. For the first time ever, I tried Crescent Burger, a taste of the new world. I was surprised and liked it. Animals after being Akatsuki, and others helped change clothes. The Oryx appeared in glistening silver armor, an image that's both beautiful and resilient. He immediately captured the hearts of everyone. The Sira gathered a huge crowd right in the square. You quickly get to the point. Announced the arrival of 20,000 Link contributors in the north, and the serious threat they pose to the Alliance. East Tower. He analyzed that even though Akihabara could defend himself, the abandonment of Istro will result in 7 heavy losses for the people of the land. But you also insist that there is no benefit, any material directly in helping them. After laying out a difficult problem, you've introduced the main character of the day, Princess Lanasia in Valkyrie armor. Lanasia stepped onto the high podium. She introduced herself and started a heartfelt speech. She did not hide the weakness of Zisto. She frankly admitted that the lords had intended cowardly want to take advantage and coerce the immortal explorer. We have to fight for them. She is openly secretive about the disappearance of the Izuma Knights. And on behalf of all, I apologize in the most sincere way. You said you didn't have anything of value to pay them. There is no price worth paying for their freedom. But as a member of the family, you know, you're supposed to protect the city of Maihama. And even though she's a weak girl, lazy and nothing more than an ornament, you said you would fight. That stony statement has shaken the hearts of thousands of explorers who were there. And then she made her final request, an appeal not based on obligation or reward. It's based on their own goodwill and their own freedom. Please let them fight by your side. Linasia's speech. It worked beyond imagination. The roar of support echoed through the square. The explorers, people who always want a goal, an ideal conquered. Because of the princess's courage and sincerity. Immediately, Krusty stepped up and announced the formation of an expeditionary army, with you as the commander and Zero as the strategist. A recruitment. Large-scale troops began. Then during Lanasia, I'm still confused about what I just did. Zero, Krusty, and Mijitaka quickly came up with a plan of action. They decided to prioritize speed. Part of the elite force, there are about 1,200 volunteers, will be shipped quickly to Narasino port by a prototype steamship called the Ozabet, a new invention of the Manufacturing Guild. Meanwhile, Zero will go to the Midran Equestrian Park to establish a strategic command. However, the unilateral action of Lanestia, it's caused political concerns. Syrian Lord Cohen, her grandfather, found Mijitaka. He was worried that the other lords would suspect Miss Wen's family. He's making a secret deal with Akihabara to consolidate power. But after understanding the situation, he made a very wise proposal. Instead of trying to get the Round Table into the League, like the nobles, he suggested signing a treaty, non-aggression, and a trade pact. Recognize Akihabara as a peer-to-peer force. It's a historic diplomatic move. Meanwhile, at summer camp, the new players, after successfully repelling the first wave of attacks, all were warmly welcomed by Mariel. Now Chigu realized that the younger generation, people who are not bound, forced by the old mindset of a new game, people who can easily accept it, people of the land, like real people, ready to fight to protect them. Back to Akihabara. All preparations have been completed. Finally, Krusty is ready to lead his army into battle, and with final orders kill them all. The first expedition of the Akihabara explorers. It has officially started. Pioneer force led by Krusty. After docking in Narasino port, we moved quickly to the west of the lake, Kasumi, to face off against the goblins' vanguard. The battle was extremely violent, but with command, talented, and the overwhelming power of high-level explorers. Krusty's army was completely overwhelmed. They can easily penetrate enemy formations. Even when the giants show up to help, they're still undeterred and continue to attack. However, in the midst of the chaos of the battle, Princess Lenasia noticed something strange. While enjoying the battle furiously Krusty's eyes contained a deep sadness, an ineffable loneliness. Meanwhile, at the strategic command post at the Midran Equestrian Park, the Zero is working non-stop. They've successfully established a network of spiritual contacts. Complex way of feeling. Allowed syrup. It can coordinate all the units that are fighting across all fronts in a fluid way. However, the syrup is also aware of a problem that can be solved. Winning the goblins is not the ultimate goal. It's more important to stop them after 7 defeats. Don't let them scatter out and attack the villages of the people of the land. So your plan is to push and lead the entire goblin force about a single point. And the most important sticking point of this plan. This is Choosy Town, where the new players are holding. At the same time, Choosy, the new players, are facing their own challenges. An army of Sawagins, the monster. There are fish in the thousands, came out of nowhere and surrounded the town. Faced with a large and aggressive force, Mariel stood up to everyone. Fight together to protect. Guard town battle in Juicy Explosion. And in that fight, Minori's group shines again. They don't just fight bravely. It also shows great maturity in the ability to coordinate. Toya and Sarara have become much stronger. Isuzu and Rudy work together in an amazing way. And especially Minori. She applied it brilliantly. Full control fighting style that Zero used to be. A strategy that requires the ability to look at the big picture, calculate the exact percentage of energy, and predict the course of the battle up to 30 seconds in advance. I can only see for about 10 seconds. Minori has proven herself step by step, chasing the shadow of the teacher that you always respect. But the war is getting more and more intense. A sudden rain came. The appearance of 2 wolves. Dry has put Minori's group in grave danger. The enemy's attack is too strong that the healing ability can't keep up. And when Tohia is in danger of falling, Rudy decided to sacrifice himself to get the flock's attention. Wolves create opportunities for their teammates. Rudy's actions help them turn the tide, but the price to pay back is too high. He died and a truth was revealed. Rudy is a citizen of the land. That means your death is permanent. Sarara and Minori's attempts at revival were in vain. The pain and helplessness enveloped the group. Isuzu in tears recounted that she knew this secret, but did not dare to say Ra, for not wanting to extinguish Rudy's dream of becoming an explorer. To face the harsh truth, Minori has made a final decision. She used her best to scream, sending a desperate cry for help to the syrup. A prayer to break all the rules of the world and syrup. When you hear that cry for help, Minori's desperate cry for help has reached the Zero, who are busy coordinating the war. Still do not hesitate to put everything aside. In response to the student's request, you immediately leave the headquarters to hand over control to Karasen and rush ride Griffin to Chojozi. There's so much in your head right now. Think about what you can do. We can do it in this absurd world, especially when Minori. I need your help now more than ever. While flying to the destination, Zero quickly grasped the situation. You know that normal revival. It doesn't work for the people of the land, because their souls will vanish after their bodies are destroyed. But based on Regan's theory, that if the body recovers in time, you can keep your soul. You asked Minori and Sarara continuously use revival to stop the process, disintegrating Rudy's body. This is a race against time, because while Rudy's body was being held back, your soul is still fading away. In the midst of the battle going on, Zero quickly made a plan. It's a new kind of magic that you've created. You've drawn up a contract with the most advanced magic materials, paper of the Fairy King and ink from the Dragon's Eye. The time to perform an unprecedented ritual. Upon arrival, the syrup asks people to form a protective ring, and with the help of energy recovery from Isuzu's song, you start the first ritual you use. Use the skills of a magician. Energy channel to absorb 1 Zeroth soul of all members of the group. Include yourself and transfer 1/10 of that soul to Cho Rudy. Next, he used a rare resurrected incense to coerce, bringing Rudy's soul and body together, turning you into a zombie in 3 minutes. Rudy is awake, but you know you don't have much time. You calmly accept fate, but the syrup wouldn't let you do that. I scolded Judy for her lack of determination. And suppose what you learned in the dungeon. It's not a tactic. It's the will to survive. And then the syrup comes up with a contract. A text. Magic can change the rules of the world. The contract states that Rudy, you will become a member of the Horizon Lock Guild. And in return, you'll be given explorer status. It's a very risky decision. But Rudy didn't hesitate to accept. You assert that your biggest wish is to be a family, exploring someone who can help others. With the help of Isuzu, Rudy signed the contract. And soon you're down again. Cyril explained that to complete the contract, Rudy needs to die once. He will be resurrected in the church, like a real explorer. Meanwhile, Krusty's vanguard. The attack is continuing. They completely destroyed the Goblin General's forces, paving the way for the final battle with the Goblin King. And at Chuzi, after a long and tiring battle, the army finally arrived and easily defeat the Sahojin army, bring victory and peace to the town. Later at the church in Akihabara, Rudy is awake. On your status board, now the subclass text appears. The Explorer. Your dream has come true. You become someone like Isuzu, like Cyril, a real explorer. And in that moment of joy, Isuzu also appeared. You're both worried and angry, scolding Judy for acting recklessly. But behind that lies the interest and the relief. Their relationship has turned a new page. And with a great victory, a ball was held to celebrate. A new beginning for both Easton and the Round Table. A month after the victory, Land Jubilant Air filled the permanent Ice Palace 9, where a grand feast is held to honor the successful cooperation between the Free Cities, Easton and the Round Table Conference. But in the midst of the laughter, Akatsuki felt sad again, because Syrup chose to stay out of the spotlight. You skillfully refused to attend. Cede the stage to Krusty, who always shines, and the perfect face on big events like this. In the Grand Hall, the party continues with jubilant atmosphere. Niantic and Nachugu have fun with other members. The delicious food, a sweet fruit of their own discoveries. And outside the kids, there's a storyteller. This person skillfully weaves fairy tales from the very events that just happened. Turn the fierce war. It's a legend of heroes, especially the story of a young man. He has overcome death to become an explorer. It's all thanks to a whole new kind of magic. It was created by a great magician, without anyone else. The mysterious shaman mentioned in the Syro story. I walked by and overheard it, but then the narrator stops and disappears. Then I went to see Reagan. He's not just celebrating his victory, but also in honor of the syrup. FR successfully inventing a world-class magic, a force capable of changing the laws of all things. But Reagan also brought some disturbing news. He revealed that a similarly powerful flow of magical energy, it was also felt in the far west, in Minami City, an area under the control of a powerful guild and protected by the Holy Kingdom of Westland, a power that's historically connected to the Gowan family. This information, associated with what I just learned about an event. It's called the Devil Festival of Chutuak Gate. It's happening in the west. Made me realize the fact that, while Akihabara is slowly getting into stability, the other big moves are still happening, all over the Yamato Island chain. And you've got to prepare for the new challenges that are possible. Come at any time. Pause between lines of strategic thinking. Cyril left and joined the party. Akatsuki soon found the syrup, and they had a private conversation. Here, Cyril has sincerely expressed his gratitude to her. I admit that it's thanks to you being there, from protecting you in every battle. Collect 10 important pieces of intelligence, until you share your deepest secrets with me, that you could go so far. The words are somewhat awkward, but it's filled with Cyril's sincerity. That made Akatsuki's heart flutter. And in that moment, when the melodious music of the theme song from the game, the old Teo elder echoed, Cyril did something you've never done before. He invited Akatsuki to view a dance that may not be perfect. It's even a little embarrassing, but it's proof, the most obvious for special relationship and appreciation, that I have for you. Meanwhile, the floor. The dance also became more exciting when other couples get together to play the melody. Krusty and Lenacia. It opens with an elegant dance. Niantic gently tutored Sierra. Little girl, after a moment of hesitation, decided to continue, devoted to the alliance in the Crescent, instead of joining the Lock Horizon to be able to take care of new players. A decision. It shows your maturity and responsibility. Rudy and Isuzu also have a dance of their own. It marked a new beginning for their relationship. The party ended in warm air, pressure, and full of hope. It's not just a victory celebration. It's also a turning point, strengthening the relationship of cooperation and friendship between the two peoples. A few days later, Princess Lenacia has officially moved to Akihabara to take on the role of ambassador. Meanwhile, the syrup also skillfully lends spread rumors about losing your memory after death, even though it caused some initial anxiety. But it didn't cause a lot of chaos, because the community now has a new order and trust. Life in Akihabara gradually returns to its usual rhythm, but Minori still seems to have it in her heart. Something I can't say to my teacher. And then when the first autumn wines came back, Mariel proposed to hold a grand autumn festival, an idea that's immediately embraced by everyone. And the villain in the glasses presented Village a blueprint for an event that brings the Inzat Festival name. The bustling atmosphere of the Inzat Festival. It's covering Akihabara, the city's first major event since the end of the world. That ignited the enthusiasm of everyone. The guild from combat to production are all excited to prepare special booths and unique products, like these finely carved princess statues. Meanwhile, the Crescent Alliance is no less exciting, with plans to hold a fashion show and the return of the Crescent Burger brand fame, and in the midst of work, a side event called Cake Buffet Delight. It caught the attention of a lot of people, especially Akatsuki and Minori. Two girls are secretly in love with the same syrup. People are still working in the library, surrounded by husbands, documents, and strategic plans. Doesn't seem to know the carnival atmosphere outside. Henrietta, after being given a doll by Akatsuki, in the shape of her own, worried about the health of the syrup and decided to visit him. She didn't just bring you the necessary documents. I also advise you to spend time, space, take a break and join the festival with the members. Guild by Lock Horizon. It's also part of the round table. And be responsible. Contribute to the success of the event. After Henrietta left, Akatsuki showed a slightly confused expression. She didn't just bring you red bean pastries. It's sweet, but it takes courage to invite you to a cake buffet, for the reason that it's free to go in pairs. At the same time, Minori came with a similar invitation. She explained that winning a cake eating contest, this will bring 2 tickets to the sunset party with Princess Lenacia and the girl. I want everyone to know the good people. Syrian, not a villain wearing glasses, as rumored, face an awkward situation. When both girls are so excited, I've decided to go with both of you. With the help of Henrietta and Suzu, both Akatsuki and Minori, they all chose the most beautiful costumes. A kimono, elegant for Akatsuki, and a cute dress for Minori, to prepare for the date. The cake buffet is finally happening, but it's not what the syrup imagined. You don't just have to deal with pressure from the eyes of those around you, but also have to deal with the excessive enthusiasm of the whole. Akatsuki and Minori, people who keep giving you cake, put me in a difficult situation. After that tense fight, they left the cafe, and Minori, he left quietly so that they both had their own space. After returning to the office, Sori can't stop thinking about your role as a guild owner, and decide you need to spend more time with the members. I was thinking about it when I met Akatsuki. They had a short conversation, and in that moment, during the conversation, Akatsuki has some rather intimate actions with the syrup. This caught Minori's eye. When she was about to bring you tea, she left in a moment of jealousy. You secretly thought the syrup was yours, but soon she realized her mistake and ran away. In tears, Talia found her sister crying. You're not surprised that your sister likes syrup. Even said that it's so obvious. You comfort Minori that liking someone is not a problem. And despite her suffering, she hasn't done anything wrong. Minori's words of encouragement helped Minori calm down. She realized that she had never lost, and that there's still a lot you can do to pursue. My feelings. On the second day of the festival, the air of Akihabara, it's getting more and more exciting. The members of Lock Horizon, everyone has their own plans. From now Chugyu, with a pseudo-food safety inspection mission, my defense is Suzu and Rudy. Enjoy the festival together as a real couple. Until Toya, join help at the Alliance's booth page, Croissant Tongue. And meanwhile, Syrup is still burying its head in paperwork. Only Minori has her own plans. Meanwhile, the first problems, it also began to arise when differences in culture and social status between explorers and the people of the land gradually revealed Naosugu and Akatsuki. While enjoying street food, we had to intervene to solve it. An argument between a trader, the people of the land, and an explorer. Henriette in tired form. She's busy preparing for a fashion show. And do not forget to assign tasks Joe Akatsuki, participating as a model, while Lenacia as an ambassador. I'm getting used to my new role, and try to prepare for the sunset party. And Minori is helping Karasen at the council's office of the Guild Fabrication, a place that's facing a huge amount of work. Here she has demonstrated her remarkable progress. After becoming a student of Zero, with apprenticeship letter skills, you quickly arrange and dealing with a messy mass of paperwork in an efficient manner. Proof that your decision to become a student, the syrup, is absolutely right. It's not just a way for her to be more useful. Guild and Akihabara. It's a step on your own path, a path that she's mapped out for herself. But in the midst of that bustling atmosphere, signs of a larger conspiracy are emerging. The stalls of the local merchants, the land, especially the people from the West, begin to mess up. They deliberately create arguments, using unreasonable claims to disrupt the order of the festival, from asking for the exclusive purchase of a limited item, until deliberately blocking the road to make noise. It all seems like a plan, deliberately staged. Even if it's in the office, I also felt something unusual in the reports. Security is constantly being delivered, and then a call from Minori cleared it all up. Little girl in the process of processing papers. I've discovered something strange. It's a huge amount of paperwork. Festival from the people of the land. It's full of fundamental errors, mistakes that a normal trader can't make. Must zero. Immediately realize it's not a coincidence. It's a targeted attack on economy and order. The young society of Akihabara. Enemy. They're using innocent people to cause trouble. And while you're trying to piece together the clues, another report has arrived. A mysterious ship carrying a warlord from the west. Lord Mans is entering Akihabara. And Syrup, with a bad hunch, realized that I was too careless. And now the enemy has taken the initiative. A war without guns, but no less dangerous. It's about to explode in the middle of Akihabara. When the Festival of Heaven enters its second day, Akihabara was completely submerged in a sea of people, creating an unprecedented bustling scene. But it comes with a lot of excitement. It's a series of incidents. It's happening all over the city. From small quarrels, VA traffic incidents, until the groundless complaints. They all seem to have one thing in common. They're all joined by the people of the land from other areas, and they're slowly causing chaos and disturbance. Order of the festival. Zero, though not directly involved, still closely monitoring. Everything happens from my office, and through analysis, I've realized a disturbing truth. That is, about 15% of the population temporarily caused more than 60% of the problems. And a large percentage of that comes from the West. This reinforces it. Fake. Your theory is that this was a targeted attack, aimed at the credibility of the Round Table, and the deeper goal, maybe to undermine the cooperation treaty between the East and Akihabara. Meanwhile, Princess Lanacia, who are busy preparing for the Sunset Party, an important diplomatic event, also get the news about the sudden appearance of Lord Mambust, an influential aristocrat from Westland. You sense a potential threat, but decided to welcome it. He's very formal, because your main goal right now is to strengthen a friendly relationship with the explorers. I've noticed that the situation is getting more complicated. Cyro decided to act, but I understand that canceling the festival, or openly confront, will only make the situation worse. That's what the enemy wants. So I chose a different strategy. A silent but equally effective counterattack. You don't need a sword, you need information. People who can help you get 10, and deal with them quickly. Minori has been tasked with being the 10 and aggregate all reports of incidents. It's not an easy task, but she happily accepted, because it's a chance for her to show off her abilities, and prove that you're worthy of being a Zero student. She sees this as her own battlefield, where you'll fight with wisdom and dedication, to protect what my teacher has built. At the council's office of the Guild Fabrication, it's been turned into a temporary command center. Minori quickly proved her ability. She applied her tactical lessons, Zero, into information management. Look at the staff at the warehouse. Are facing a series of complaints. Is the Karasan frontline, and others are solving complex problems. They are the healers, and she herself is the solid back to support everyone. But even though the Syrup has a system that captures 10 bits of information effectively, still feels stuck. Disruptive actions of the enemy. It doesn't seem to follow any rules. They're too random, too pointless, from blocking the road, spreading gossip and arguing for some stupid reason. Until silly jokes like ordering a large amount of pizza. There's no recipients or rubber stickers everywhere. It all seems like a mess with no purpose. This accident made the Syrup very uncomfortable. But then a chance encounter with Sugetsu brought a ray of light. Success. Tell the story of how he dealt with the shop cake by mobilizing all of his fangirls to eat until the store runs out of cookies. A completely unplanned action. There is no calculation. It's simply natural. And the Syrup realized that to deal with the chaos, sometimes the best way is to use chaos. It's an immediate organized chaos. The Zero has mobilized a special force. More than 20 squads full of Sujiro fangirls. They were assigned to patrol the city with a very simple but very effective motivation. It's a chance to be close to your idol, army fangirl, with enthusiasm and the ability to communicate skillfully. They were quick to solve small problems, effective, from couples quarrels to minor conflicts, and more importantly, their presence. That made the disruptors falter. The battle has been reversed, but the battle is not over. Zero knows that the real mastermind hasn't come forward yet, and his ultimate target is Princess Lanesia, who's at the sunset party. One little hesitation. He handed over temporary command to Nyanta and rushed to the Water Marble Mansion. Here he faced directly with Lord Mambust, who are nobly putting pressure on Lanesia about a mysterious cargo. And as soon as the situation gets tense, Zero came out with a mysterious smile on his lips. I'm here to pick up my princess. In the midst of the purposeful chaos at the Feast of Heaven, Syrian, I finally came face to face with the man behind it all. Lord Mambust of Westland. He showed up at the sunset party with Mijitaka and Krusty, the pillars of the round table, to break the plan of putting pressure on Princess Lanesia of Mambust with an attitude that is both sarcastic and tough. The syrup has just laid all the blame on Lanesia Cho, that the princess's own absent-mindedness. It caused all the trouble on the preparation of the warehouse for the shipment of precious seafood of Mambust and you. As a leader, I will be responsible for you on your behalf. Lanesia was a little confused at first, but quickly understood the syrup's intentions and coordinate the play with you. But the real eraser of syrup is somewhere else. You've created a letter signed by a man. Thus, send for round table conference. It's an irrefutable proof that the preparation of the warehouse is the responsibility of the conference, not the princess's. And when Mambust require warehouse, Zero let Mijitaka deliver the final blow. He announced that even though the conference's inventory was full, but the Haiduan Guild's own warehouse, with 10 times the required capacity, ready to serve, and they can move the shipment immediately, facing a perfect show and an unstoppable move. Lord Mambust had no choice. In addition to pretending to be sick and retreating in humiliation, his plot was completely debunked and 7 failed. Zero succeeded in rescuing Lanesia from the dilemma. But I didn't forget my original purpose. It's taking advantage of the party sunset to strengthen the relationship between explorers and the people of the land. You've turned the party into a public event. Invite the princess to the stage to interact with everyone, an act that shows respect. It's a great opportunity to break down barriers between the two sides and to make sure everything goes well. You deliberately played the bad guy to facilitate for Krusty. Be a hero in the eyes of Lensa and the public. This is a strategy of self-sacrifice for the common good, something that Minori and Akatsuki couldn't understand, and it instilled in them complex emotions. Minors, it hurts to see your teacher being misunderstood. While Akatsuki, I felt like I couldn't be there to share the burden with you. And then in a moment of silence, a fateful meeting took place. Nureha Master Guild of Brandweiden, that Sai ruled the entire city of Minami in the west. He suddenly appeared in front of the police. She came up with a tempting offer to invite Zero to join your guild and rule the world with you. But it's also a threat. She reveals that she knows everything about you, from your creation of new magic to deep secrets. The most intimate she even revealed. You have found a method. We can bring them back to the real world. A hole can make a person disappear. She made a choice for syrup. Or we can go with you and find our way back. Or stay and continue our senseless fight. The syrup was shaken but refused. You said you had a reason to stay. Those are the friends, the teammates, that you built this world together. You can't make them an excuse to run away. Zero's refusal did not anger Nureha. On the contrary, she claims that one day, I will belong to you. And you disappeared, leaving in the syrup a vague anxiety about the future. When the festival is over, everyone in Lock Horizon has gathered together. Enjoy the last moments of peace. And syrup, when looking at his friends, I found the answer for myself. Next target of Lock Horizon. It's not just about rebuilding a city or find your way back, but something bigger. They will change the world. And with that determination, the first season of Lock Horizon is over. It opens a promising new chapter goodbye.